Now, I hope you all came prepared for something a little bit different because today, different's exactly what you're going to get. You see, for today's service, we aren't just going to sit back and learn about the first Universalist who gave the first ever labor speech, who called for the first ever Labor Party, and who created the very first labor press by and for laborers.
Nope, we, my friends, are all going to go back in time and organize along with William Highton.
And Fanny Wright.
That's me. This faith requires action. And to tell this story, we're going to need every one of you to be involved today. So you are now laborers, and you might have seen some papers on those chairs. We want all of you to grab one because that designates what kind of a laborer you are back in the 1820s. Okay, so shake out those arms and legs and get ready to participate. We're going to get rowdy, we're going to get loud, and most important, we're going to get organized.
Woo! In the words of Krista Flanagan, friends, let us gather with open, curious hearts, ready to explore the unpredictable, learn from its wisdom, and embrace its beauty. So as we light the chalice today, the symbol of our faith, I will read these chalice lighting words from Honoring Our Labors by Florence Caplow. We light this flame to honor all work, including the work of our hands and our backs, in gratitude for all the labors that support our world, and for all those who boldly continue the work of justice, equity, and peace.
Now let's set the stage. The year is 1827.
The last 15 years have been a mass of contradictions. Canals are making travel easier and faster than ever before.
Factory machines are popping up all along the northeastern seaboard.
And just this year, merchants and bankers in Baltimore have started designing and planning the very first railroad for cargo and passengers.
But businesses have been shuttering. Wages have been low.
Now, skilled artisans who have been working out of their homes, they're finding it harder and harder to compete and survive. Now, tens of thousands of men
and women,
yes, roam from town to city in search of a job.
After a yellow fever outbreak, the leaders of Philadelphia, which is where we are, remember, commissioned the Fairmount Waterworks to pump clean water into the city,
which was then fed to individual homes and establishments.
Science and technology are making life better, but only for some.
You see that fresh water? It only gets fed into the nice neighborhoods, not ours, my fellow laborers. And over in the nice, wealthier neighborhoods, the city pays folks to clean the sewage from the streets, but not in ours.
Husbands and wives leave cramped, dismal flats, or live in cramped, dismal flats, and walk through sewage-ridden streets to make it to work before the sun rises every day, and don't return until after sunset.
And for some of us, our little ones also work from sunup to sundown.
Yeah.
Since the few charity schools here, they do even worse by our children. And on the one day off on Sunday, we find our streets chained so that we can't even take a carriage to enjoy the parks and the rivers.
The cry of misery has gone up from the land, and that cry is our country's condemnation. I am Fanny Wright, a newly minted American citizen and feminist, activist, lecturer, abolitionist, and utopian social reformer. And this is William Highton, a fellow laborer and a member of the Universalist Church here in Callowhill Street in Philadelphia. He may claim to be a simple, unlettered mechanic, but he has some pretty big ideas.
So I want to welcome you, my fellow laborers, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm glad you've come because we need to speak about our condition. the conditions of our lives, our condition in society. The truth is that the work we do is not valued by those who consider themselves our betters. The working classes through every age have been the sole producers of the grandeur and opulence of their respective ages. Yet they have ever been chained down to poverty, despised and insulted by those who enjoyed a superabundance of the choicest products of their labor. Those who are toiling day after day, spending their strength and wasting their health in the production of wealth are doomed not only to poverty, but even to contempt. No matter how fair our characters may be, the wealthy do not admit us into their circles, nor treat us as equals. And they even want us to consider it a gift when they treat us with common civility. We find ourselves oppressed on every hand. We labor hard in producing all the comforts of life for the enjoyment of others, while we ourselves obtain but a scanty portion. Now, several of the different trades have from time to time tried to improve their condition by forming themselves into societies. Sometimes they have succeeded, but those successes have been trifling and temporary, soon wrested from them by avaricious accumulators and ungenerous employers. Nothing yet has been permanent. But we haven't yet applied the proper remedy. We've only been lopping off the branches of the evil, which immediately shoot forth again. We need a more powerful remedy, one directed at the root of the evil before we can hope for better times. What power do we, my fellow laborers, possess to destroy this fatal evil? What power can we wield? I say that knowledge is our power. Our numbers are our power. And I say we must create new institutions to educate and organize ourselves. A newspaper edited by us and written by us, my fellow laborers. One that speaks to our conditions. And a wider union across the trades where we pay dues to support each other during standouts and strikes, advancing our fight against oppression. And finally, a political party where we nominate our own to serve our interests in writing the laws of this country. Now, I know it's 1827, and you've probably never heard of such a strange thing. Unite across the trades, establish our own independent party, found our own free labor presses, represent our own interests as laborers instead of relying on the aristocratic few to pay us attentional scraps. But that is what we must do to fight against this oppression which threatens our very lives. And to do this, we need all of you. Now, on your seats, you should have found those cards labeled with your trade in one of these three institutions, along with some quotations and instructions. For the next 5 minutes, speak with the other members of your institution. So whether that's the Labor Press, the Mechanics Union Trade Association, or the Labor Party. Together, I want you to choose one quote out of the three, and then nominate one person to be a reader. After the 5 minutes is up, the reader from each institution should join me up front with their group's chosen quote. Now, please go ahead and turn to your colleagues and discuss and decide on a quotation.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Thank you so much, representatives. You want to go ahead and share your reading?
Hi, I'm representing the Mechanics Union Trade Association, and we are doing quote number 2 from November 1827 Universalist Church Address. Let us pay no regard to those who would attempt to distract us from our duty, a duty we owe to ourselves and posterity. Our cause is a good one. It is the cause of humanity, of justice, and of truth. Then let us pursue obtaining our just rights and rank in society by lawful means. Let us arm ourselves with the power of knowledge and obtain a bloodless victory over legal oppression and extortion.
Thank you so much, Mechanics Union Trade Association. My apologies. Next is Mechanics Free Press.
Hi, I'm representing the Mechanics Free Press, a wonderful organization. I'm quoting from the November 1827 Universalist Church Address that says, "While we neglect to store our minds with useful information, we can never rise above our present condition, for ignorance will inevitably render all our efforts useless. Therefore, let us diligently and perseveringly apply ourselves to the acquisition of more useful knowledge than we yet have done, and we can then bid defiance to oppression and poverty."
And now we have a representative from the Philadelphia Workingmen's Party.
Classes. All right, so I am reading from the November 1827 Universalist Church Address. Let us no longer be deluded by false arguments and false zeal to vote for this man, or this or that party, for our interest is never taken into consideration by any one of them. They only talk about it to keep us in delusion. Let us resolve to never more give our votes to any but members of the working class or to those who publicly pledge themselves to support our interest in Legislative Hall.
Thank you, Workingmen's Party, and thank you all for uniting and working together to shape this collective reading. It's so important that we collaborate and learn and lead together rather than relying on others to do it for us. I hope that today begins a new epoch, an epoch in the progressive march to improve our society. May it long be remembered as a time when we began to organize and fight against oppression.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, did you hear that sound, William? I think time is warping.
You're right. Fellow laborers, you might get caught up in this time warp, but just don't panic, okay?
Oh, don't panic, is that written in big friendly letters?
It is mostly harmless, after all. If you feel the time warp pulling you in, feel free to join us in the dance. Standing, sitting, however it feels right. Just
come on, girls.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
Warp. It's the time warp.
It's starting.
I remember to the time warp, creaking those moments when the blackness would hit me and the void would be calling. Let's turn the time warp again. Let's turn the time warp again.
It's just a jump to the left.
And then it's up to the right.
With your hands on your hips.
If we are losing time, but it's a perfect cross. The really drives you insane. Let's turn the time warp again. Let's turn the time warp again. It's so dreamy, or fantasy free me, so you can't see me. No, not at all. In another dimension, with voyeuristic intention, well secluded, I see all.
With a bit of a mind flip.
You're into the time slip.
And nothing can ever be the same.
You're spaced out on sensation, like you're under sedation. Let's turn the time warp again. Let's You stared at me and I felt the change. Time and nothing never would again. Let's turn time on again. Let's turn time on again.
It's just a jump to the left
And then it's to the right.
with your hands on your hips.
You bring your knees in tight. And it's the perfect choice. Every day drives you insane. Let's turn time on again. Let's turn time on again.
What a long, strange trip that was. Whew. Did you all come through all right? Okay, good, good. Oh, man. 2022. Wow. 200 years. Oh, a newspaper. Let's see where we've ended up. Okay, look, the Unitarians and the Universalists, they've joined into a single denomination. Amazing. And there's an organization made up of Unitarian Universalists committed to advancing the interests of the people in the state of Pennsylvania, UU Justice PA. It says here, the goal of UU Justice PA's Good Government PA team is to restore and maintain a representative democracy with economic, environmental, and social justice for all in Pennsylvania. Our 5 focus areas are redistricting reform, increasing voting rights and participation, minimizing the role of money in politics and securing the vote, and restoring ethics in government. They say extreme economic, racial, and gender inequality has created political inequality, which results in dysfunctional government. Friends, I think I need to sit with that for a minute. Voting rights and participation. Restore representative democracy. Restore ethics. Minimizing the role of money in politics. Extreme economic, racial, and gender inequality created political inequality. There's a phrase here I read that seems quite fitting. The more things change, the more they stay the same. 200 years. Slavery is ended. Women and blacks alike have the right to suffrage, as do the native peoples of this land. And still, the moneyed few advance their interests by manufacturing racial and gender inequality between us. In my time, that was something I tried so hard to educate my fellow laborers to understand. It was why I hold such deep respect for Fanny Wright. She saw through the ways that the unequal treatment of women and of blacks harmed all workers and uplifted the propertied aristocracy. I tried to encourage support for our fellow women laborers. I even raised money when the seamstresses in Moyamensing went on strike. I tried to, at the very least, encourage an abolitionist fervor in my fellow laborers. At heart, both our condition and the disgusting condition of black slaves and free laborers alike was tied to the same interests of the wealthy accumulators who profited from our misery. It may have been different in degree, but it served the same purpose. But it was so hard to get many of my fellow laborers to understand that we could find strength in solidarity. As Fanny once said, so long as the people are blind to principles, will they be deceived by men. So long as they are occupied with trifles, by triflers they will be led. So long as they neglect their own interests, will their press, their teachers, and their rulers do the same. And yet, what is being done 200 years later in UU Justice, PA, it is so much of what I hope to see from our faith leaders in my own time. Indeed, we had Universalist ministers like Abner Neeland, Stephen R. Smith, Orestes Bronson, and Joshua King Ingalls, who did not shy away from arguing for economic equality and material rights. Poverty is a moral evil. It is a moral choice in our society, the choice to allow some to live in opulence and luxury, while others suffer hungry and homeless. The truly faithful cannot turn their faces from these evil and pretend as they don't exist. There's hope here. There is hope when we refuse to turn our faces away from our shared suffering. There is hope when we unite in solidarity. There is hope when we uplift the faithful, cry against oppression. I see hope here because the people recognize the strength of solidarity, the power of numbers, and the hope of a faith-filled call to justice. Our benediction today comes from Gary Kowalski, who wrote this interfaith benediction. Gathered in our varied faiths, we give thanks for the blessings of world community as we share our common dream, homes and schools where children thrive, neighborhoods that are safe and clean, a city rich in colors and cultures, an economy where no one is expendable, a beloved community where rich and poor alike have access to the opportunity for a dignified life, a productive life. Churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples where our deepest hope is to be of service to a hurting world. Enable us as we leave this place to carry forth this prayer into the coming week, turning our thoughts toward charity, our hearts toward justice, and our hands toward the work of peace. Shalom, amen, and blessed be.
And read together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We have to understand we have to go down together. We have to march together. We have to sing together. We have to cry together. We have to love together, right? We have to fight together, right? We have to do so as the united, poor, and dispossessed to become that new and unsettling force that King called for to bring about a revolution of values. So the lyrics will be somewhere around here, and reckon you can sing out along with us. And this is a song I'll say, you don't have to worry about harmonizing, just sing along in your own key, right? No pressure, you're sitting at home probably watching this, so. Alrighty then, let's get to it. Let's go down and march together. Let's go down to do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a whole. Our brothers gotta get together. Our brothers gotta do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a whole. As we walk down Jericho Highway, as we walk down side by side, we won't surrender one another to the bandits and the robbers along the ride. Let's go down and march together. Let's go down to do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a whole. Our sisters got to get together. Our sisters gotta do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a poor. We're gonna march through the valleys, gonna march along highways too. And as we march along together, we'll win back what was stole from me and you. Let's go down and march together. Let's go down to do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a poor. Our siblings gotta get together. Our siblings gotta do more and more. Nobody there will ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a poor. When the road gets rough and rocky, and the hills get steep and high, in a band we'll all go marching, and we'll win that revolution by and by. Let's go down and march together. Let's go down to do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a poor. Oh, our mothers gotta get together. Our mothers gotta do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as the poor. When the road gets rough and rocky, and the hills are steep and high, we will sing as we go marching, and we'll win our revolution by and by. Let's go down and march together. Let's go down, do more and more. Nobody there can ever stop us. Let's go down and march out as a poor. Let's go down and march out as the poor. Let's go down and march out as the poor.